Howdy, welcome to Cooking with Chef Fletch, where we are dedicated to cooking, learning new recipes, and having fun along the way. I invite you to subscribe, share, and leave your comments as we travel together on this culinary journey. The recipe, ingredients, and directions will be in the description below. And with that, let's grab our knives, straighten our chef hats, and start cooking. Recently, my lovely wife and I got to participate in filling some blessing boxes. Now, if you don't know what a blessing box is, it's a box. Y'all probably have some in your own communities. We've got actually 5 here in the small town that we're in, which is kind of surprising because it is a small town. Anyways, it's a box where you can take non-perishables and canned goods and fill these boxes up for people that need food and don't have the money to purchase food. They can go to these boxes and retrieve stuff. So we filled some boxes. So today's recipe, I decided to make a recipe based on nothing but canned goods and non-perishables. So I want to challenge everybody watching this video to go out and find a blessing box in your community, or if you don't have a blessing box, find a needy family or person in your community and possibly give them the ingredients as well as the recipe for the dish that I'm about to be sharing with y'all, so that you can be a blessing to someone else. Thank you. Now let's get our ingredients out and get started. So our ingredients for our blessing box: mushroom, chicken, and rice. First of all, we have a box of rice-a-roni, chicken flavored rice. Has some vermicelli in there as well. We have, now this, we're actually going to be following the package directions except for one thing. I'm sorry, Chef Fletch Jr., you got to move. Instead of the butter that it calls for on here, we're going to use olive oil, because olive oil is more of a shelf-stable ingredient, whereas butter has to be refrigerated. So we got that and the olive oil. We also have, you want back up there, Fletch Jr.? Okay. We've got some chicken broth. We've got some mushrooms, a can of cream of mushroom soup, and a can of chicken. We also have, because we can't really do this in shelf stable, to follow the package directions, we do need water. So we've got 2.5 cups of water as well. So let's get started on our rice. We're going to turn our burner on under our skillet to medium heat. We're going to go ahead and put roughly 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the bottom of the pan. Let that get warmed up. And get it spread around. Now then, while it's warming up, we got to move Fletch Jr. He likes being on top of things today. Got to get our rice opened up. Take the seasoning packet out of there because we're not quite ready for that yet. So once this oil gets heated up, we'll add our rice to it. Should only take about a minute or so for that oil to get heated up. We'll go ahead and add our rice to it. Get that out of the way. And we just want to cook this in the oil for a few minutes. Basically just try and get some of the rice and the vermicelli a little browned. Let that cook for about 5 to 6 minutes, stirring occasionally, and then we'll add our water to it. We'll get back to that in just a moment. While our rice is browning in the skillet, we're going to go ahead and take our mushrooms and our chicken, and we're going to drain the water off of them. All right, our rice and vermicelli is starting to look like it's getting where we need it. So we're going to go ahead and add our water slowly because it's a hot pan. Seems a little warm on my hands. We got our water added. and our seasoning packet that came in the package of the rice. And get that added in as well. As I said, we're basically just cooking the rice according to the package directions, except we used olive oil instead of butter. So we'll get all that stirred together. Gonna let this come back to a boil, and once it comes to boil, we're gonna put a lid on it, reduce the heat to low, and it's gonna simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. All right, I moved our rice to the back burner because we're going to go in another skillet. We're going to go ahead and get our chicken. I've got this burner still turned on medium. So we got our chicken and our mushrooms in this skillet. And we'll stir those to, that's the spoon for the rice. We'll stir those together. We're going to just let these simmer for while we're waiting on our rice. We want the chicken to warm up, the mushrooms to kind of start getting soft and tender. Once they're where we want them, we're going to go ahead and add our cream of mushroom and our chicken broth. Alright, we've got our rice working, we've got our chicken and mushrooms working. Let's go ahead and get our cream of mushroom soup. We're going to just put it in a mixing bowl. Use a spatula to get all of that out of there, or as much of it out as you can. And we're going to add our chicken broth to this. And get that all whisked together. Once our chicken and mushrooms are where we want them, which they're almost there, we'll add this to it and let it simmer and thicken up. Alright, our chicken and mushrooms are pretty well warmed up. The mushrooms are starting to get tender. So we're going to go ahead and add our cream of mushroom soup and our chicken broth to it. And we're going to let this come back to a boil. We'll put a lid on it, reduce it, and let it come to a simmer. We want to let it simmer and thicken up some. So our rice is done. It only took about 15 minutes to cook the rice, and our chicken and mushrooms are done. Now the last 5 minutes that the rice was cooking, I actually took the lid off the chicken and mushrooms, turned the heat back up to help it reduce some. Obviously, since the heat was higher, you have to make sure you stir constantly on that so you don't burn to the bottom. But it did help reduce some of the liquid so it wasn't as watery. So let's go and get it plated up. Actually, getting it bowled up today. So we're going to put a scoop of our rice, maybe a little more than a scoop. So about a scoop and a half of our rice in our bowl. And then we're just going to take our chicken and mushroom mixture, about a scoop of that, maybe a little more, and just put it over the top of our rice. What are you doing, Fletch Jr.? It does look good, doesn't it? Quit eyeing my food though. Well, like I said, it does look good. Fletch Jr. was trying to get it in the bowl practically. Let's try it. So I normally make this with whole chicken breast that I pan fry and then put in the rice with put the mushroom gravy or the cream of mushroom soup in with the rice. And I love it that way. I've been eating it that way for years. But I think this is just as good. So, a couple things. Remember, I challenged y'all on the blessing boxes. So if you can't find your own blessing box, bless the family. It's a good recipe to give them. And until next time, remember, cooking should be fun. So have fun with it. We'll see y'all next week.